What is up, guys? Today we're going to talk about prison. Is prison a holiday camp? Now, before I start, I will be wearing this hat for the next couple of days because I went to the hairdressers the other day. And see, when you struggle with anxiety like I do, going to the hairdressers is a nightmare. So I decided that I'm just going to get a buzz cut, so then I don't have to go back until probably after Christmas. But now I've got a buzz cut and it looks ridiculous, so I'm going to be wearing this hat until it grows back a bit. I'm going to be Darren G for the next couple of weeks. I've been having a little catch up on YouTube, and I noticed the bloated sheriff has had a bit of a meltdown. See, that's the thing with all these real ones, they portray this image on YouTube. Like, that's why I don't do none of that. I'm myself on here. I know I'm not a tough guy. I know I'm not a fighter, so I don't try to be. I mean, physically I'm not a fighter. Mentally, I'm one of the baddest men on the planet. But I know I'm not a fighter, so I don't pretend to be. Whereas all these others, they do. They put on this tough guy image, or they pretend that they're nice guys, and then when they get found out, they have meltdowns. Like with the sheriff, he's like telling everyone, "Oh, this is how I like it. Everyone talking about me. Don't bother me." But then he got drunk, and his true feelings came out, and he was crumbling like, "Ugh, you're all smackheads. I'm gonna beat you all up." And that just shows me the level of intelligence what he's working with. Like, the best thing you can do is say, "I'm gonna beat you all. You're all smackheads." It's like, Jesus Christ. He's probably got like 2 brain cells bouncing around in there. But anyway, enough of the dark side. I'll talk more about it on Sunday. Today we're going to talk about prison. Is prison a holiday camp? Well, if you follow me at all, you'll know my stance on it. Prison's not a holiday camp. And anybody that says it is an absolute loser. I mean, how pathetic are you if when you go to prison, you have a good time, you think it's a holiday camp. But I do get it, it's bravado, you're trying to look like prison's no problem, so I had an easy time. I've been there, when I was younger, when I first got out of prison, I was flexing, I was showing everyone my ID card, I'd done a few press-ups in my cell, I thought I was rock hard. And I look back now and I think, you fucking loser. Pathetic. Anyone can be a criminal. It's not hard to be a criminal. Anyone can sell drugs. Anyone can go to town, steal. That's easy. What is hard is waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, traveling 2 hours on a train to work in a fucking chicken factory for 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week, and then sometimes on Saturday. That's. I tell you what, I probably have just as many nightmares going to work like that for months on end as I do in prison. I used to absolutely hate it, and I worked in a factory, not a chicken factory. I worked in a chicken factory for a while, but then they got rid of everyone because it's such a shit job. In the end, there was only me left, so they couldn't justify sending a bus just to pick me up, because everybody else quit. But I don't like quitting, and to be honest, I was kind of gutted when they said we've got to let you go because we can't justify it, because that's just who I am. If I get into something, I give it 100%. I worked in a factory for years and I hated it, but my motto back then, and still is now, is never let anybody work harder than you do. And that's how you'll get by in life. If you've got that attitude, because you won't get anything if you don't work at it. If you're like, it's like anything in life. If you want it, you've got to work for it. There's no way around that. And if you've got the attitude, don't let anybody work harder than you, then you'll probably do well, and you'll find that you'll get more out of life if you work hard. But anyway, prison. It's not a holiday camp. It's crap. It's boring. It's violent. It's depressing. Especially at Christmas time, if you've got like kids, if you've got responsibilities, if you've got a house, I mean, just think about it. You're sat in a fucking prison cell, and every day you have to get up, you have to listen to people like Dekahegi, or, people just blagging your head. People like JDP trying to be a tough guy, and you've got to deal with that day in, day out. And when you're in prison at Christmas, you think about your kids, you think about your wife, you think of all the things that you're losing out on, all your things that you're missing, and it can be a hard time for anyone. I've seen people like go over, because they can't hack it, because they can't see the kids, or a visit's been cancelled, or they've had a bad letter from the missus, and it's crap. And I've seen people literally smashing up the cells because they can't cope. But anyway, I'm going to talk about a little prison story from Christmas. You might have heard me talk about this before, but a good story is should be told over and over again. It's timeless, And plus, I've got more subscribers now. I've got more confidence. So, yeah. So prison. I've done quite a few prison times in prison. See, for me, prison wasn't as hard as a lot of the other people, because I've never really had anything. Everything I've ever had, I've lost through addiction, So I never really had anything to lose in the first place. So prison for me was a lot easier than most people. And I remember once I was in Doncaster. I'd been in there for a while, I can't remember how long. Must have been a long time, because the screws came to my cell, and it was a bloke. I don't really tend to get close with the screws, Back then, when I was doing time, it was us against them mentality, So if you're like laughing with the screws and sitting with them and joking with them, then you get labelled a screw boy. And I used to work on the servery, so I did have to talk to the screws, but I would never get too close. And there was one. That's why I never know any of the names. I can barely think of any screws' names in Doncaster. But there was one that I remember called Nigel, and he came to my cell, and I only remember his name because he was always having back and forth banter with my cellmate called Daz Butler from Donny, and they were always like pranking each other, and that's the only reason I know his name. And anyway, he came to my cell one morning and says, "Come on, Paddy, we've got a job for you." And it was like fucking 5-6 o'clock in the morning. So I said, "Well, what is it?" Well, he says, "Come down to the servery," because I worked on the servery. And by the way, the servery job is a nightmare in prison. I'm telling you, people think it's a good job, but it's a stressful job, because you've got people coming through that want extra food. And sometimes, when I was on there, my mentality was, well, this food is for them, because you get people on the servery, they think it's their food. They're like, you say, "Oh, can I have some more chips?" They say, "Oh, I can't, mate." It's not yours, it's for them. And that was my mentality. So I would always get loads of food out, but sometimes if it was running low, you had to like limit it, so he took me down to the servery, and he says, "We've got a job for you." And he handed me this box. I was like, "What the fuck's this?" And it was a Christmas tree, and he says, "We want you to decorate the Christmas tree. There's a competition in the prison. Each wing makes a Christmas tree, and whoever wins gets I think a slice of gatto, chocolate gatto, or Black Forest gatto, something like that." And so they had the competition. They says, "We want you to do the Christmas tree." So I opened it up. I made all these little tassels, got little bits of tinsel, little balls, and spent like 2 hours on it. And had it proper looking nice and pristine, and I'm thinking, we're going to win the award with this, because it's not much, a slice of cake in prison, but it's something. And so I've done it all nice, I've done it, and then I shouted him back. I said, "Yeah, I've done it." He's like, "Oh, fucking bang on that, mate." So they put me back in my cell. I went back to bed, and dinner time came, and so I got up and I just woke up, come out of my cell, and the Christmas tree is bare. There's nothing on it. It was just a few branches. There was nothing left. And I shouted to Nigel, I says, "What the fucking hell have you done here?" He says, "What are you on about?" I said, "Look at my Christmas tree." He looked over, he said, "Oh, it's fucking shit, that, mate." He says, "What you done to it?" I said, "I'm fucking done out." I says, and everybody must have just seen it and thought, "Oh, I'll have that for my cell." So, everybody's took a branch or a bauble or a bit of tinsel to put in their own cells. And as I'm walking down to this area, I'm looking in the cells, and they've all got bit of tinsels all over the cells, and everybody's cells look really Christmassy. And So, you know, needless to say, we didn't we didn't win any cake, but at least everybody's cell looked a bit Christmassy, you know, and that's the best you can hope for when you're in prison. And a Christmas dinner, you know, Christmas dinner was probably the best dinner of the week, you know, because they give you like I can't remember exactly what you got. I know you got some Christmas pudding with some white custard. I know you got like 4 different meats or 3 different meats, you know, like turkey, ham, and something else, and roast potatoes. So, you know, they did make an effort for Christmas. I seem to remember like playing bingo as well. I don't know if they did that on every wing or if it was an enhanced wing. I can't remember. I don't think I've ever been enhanced, to be honest. So it was probably on normal wings. They would do bingo where you can win like a phone card back then it was, or you know, like a Mars bar. It was only little prizes, but and I always remember when they were playing bingo, if ever anybody won, like when they're going up to the prize to get the prize, like a Mars bar or something, everyone would be shouting, "Oh, you fucking knobhead," throwing shit at them, you know. So I was always thinking, I hope I don't fucking win. But yeah, and like I always say, prison is shit, you know. But while you're in there, it is possible to have a laugh. But you're still in prison, you know. People say, "Oh, playing bingo in prison," but you're still in prison, you know. Or, "Oh, you get a TV in your cell." Yeah, but you're still in a cell. You're still in prison, and those TVs probably saved countless lives, you know. The amount of people who, like, the amount of fights it stops because now everybody just watches telly, you know. Before they was at the window screaming and shouting and threatening each other, whereas now it's a lot more quieter now, you know. Like when I first went to prison, you couldn't sleep because everybody was up all night screaming. Whereas now they just put the telly on, so it's a lot more calmer. But anyway, I've waffled on enough today. Yeah, is prison a holiday camp? Definitely not. Anyone that says it is a fucking absolute loser, in my opinion. But, you know, if you do end up there, we don't live in a perfect world. People make mistakes. You know, you can get through it if you do end up there. And I will always say, take advantage of everything around you, you know. Try and do some courses. Because I spent my time just fucking trying to make people laugh and acting like a bellend. But, you know, you can get courses in there, A-levels, you know, O-levels, whatever. You know, get a career, work towards getting a job when you get out. Take advantage and document everything. There's so much stuff happened in prison and I can't remember none of it. I wish I'd have wrote it all down. But anyway, that's the video for today. If you like this video, press the thumbs up. Stay out of prison, subscribe to the channel. Nerf your part.